Hello, and welcome back to some Untitled Tarot today with your host Carmela, per usual. So, for our reading today, what we're going to be looking at is the energy of the Eight of Swords. So, the Eight of Swords to me typically speaks about a mental trap that you have laid for yourself that you typically fall into. A lot of times, these traps have to do with extremes, doubt, responsibility, independence, inauthenticity, and kind of things like that. And when I say independence, it's like this fear of being independent or like trusting your own capabilities, things like that. So what I want to look at with these readings today is where in fact are you trapping yourself? And then we're going to look at some animal energy to see what animals are actually helping you with this. So I know it kind of sounds like the weekly, but this is like an overall type thing. But I felt their energy coming through so strongly. They were like, we have to be here. They need us. They need to know that we're here guiding and helping them through this. So I'm going to obey their wishes, of course. And then we have some intuitive messages to help with some more advice, chakra wisdom cards, and work your light. It's all about, what can we actually do? It's not about, okay, we identify the problem and there's a problem, right? Even though problems are lessons, problems are obstacles. Because what we're looking at with this energy too is the understanding that there are no blockages, there are no barriers, there are no hoops and jumps and stuff like that you necessarily have to force yourself to jump through in order for you to be worthy of what you want in life or what spirit has lined up for you. Understand that spirit or God or whatever name resonates with you, their will is way beyond what your brain can comprehend and what you can even, dream of. You cannot stop their will. It doesn't matter what you do in this life. It doesn't matter what you think or what you say or how you act. You cannot stop the will of your highest vision, of your highest guidance, of the God, of the spirit within your own self that is emerging. You cannot stop that. That is what evolution and growth is. So it's taking a step back and knowing that there are not necessarily blockages and stuff like that, and reframing blockages and creating them, creating doorways out of them, gateways. So if there is an obstacle, which you would be presented with the Eight of Swords, you will know that the purpose of this obstacle is to alchemize this, turn this problem into wisdom, create something out of it. It is material. So before we jump into the readings, I do have a web today, which is super, super exciting. I didn't expect to have a web. I thought everything was going to be very individual. But we actually do have a collective web around this message. And I feel like there is a web this reading because of the collective energy of like we're all going through like this collective dark night of the soul, rites of passage, purging, and things like that. So there's really no surprise why there's a collective message here. So we'll start with the animal spirit. There were actually two that came up that wanted to be presented today. So we have Swan, who represents grace, and then we have Frog that represents cleansing. So I love how we have 38 and 39 that came out right together. Grace and cleansing. And Spirit is saying to allow you to just sit with those words and those energies. It seems like if you are watching this reading, the download will come to you in time for whatever is needed from this collective message that is won't necessarily be present in your actual reading that's for you, the one that you pick, your general reading that you pick. Apparently it seems as if just the seeing and the sharing of the energy of these cards, there will be a download offered to you just within the knowing, the awareness. And then we have, with our Work Your Light Oracle, we have yes, just say yes. And I love this too. It just seems like that like kind of like download energy too, where it definitely feels like all you need are the words. And then for our chakra wisdom card for all of us, we have the 5th chakra, throat chakra, with connect with spirit. So go ahead and pause the video if you need to go ahead and read through that. All right. From our intuitive message deck, we have the Two of Pentacles with I need to say, I am open to harmonious change. I love how we got that with the Eight of Swords, because the Eight of Swords is all like, I don't, also trapped. So it's beautiful to have the Two of Pentacles come out and say, hey, I'm open to harmonious change, because I'm sure this is what this is all about. For our Venetian Tarot for group 1, we had the Fool for bottom deck. All bottom decks for this reading have been majors, so that's really cool. For group 2, with the Murder of Crows Tarot, we had the Star. Beautiful. And these will be shuffled for the actual general readings as well. But this is just the overall collective message. For the Hermetic Tarot, oh, wrong one. Wrong one first, sorry. But for the Necronomicon Tarot deck, we have the Magician. Such a cool deck. And then for our Hermetic Tarot, we have the Moon. Go ahead and show you the Moon. Ruler of flux and reflux, ebb and flow. All right, so that will be the gist of our reading today. I'm excited to dive into these and see what we get. So on our piles today, we do have the Eight of Swords. They will be going back into the deck and being shuffled so that we can actually get our messages for what sticky situation you might be in mentally. This is all about your mental space, clearing out and identifying the traps you laid in your mental space. So let me stop rambling. We have our Eight of Swords up here. You can pick via the Eight of Swords, so let me show you that. The Eight of Swords on the Venetian Tarot for group 1 with the Sodalite stone. And then group 2, we have the Eight of Swords from the Murder of Crows deck with the Desert Rose. All of these decks too, I'm pretty sure this was by design via my spiritual team, but all the decks do have like a very shadowy aspect. So some of the illustrations can be a little harsh, like this one. The Eight of Swords from the Necronomicon deck with our Tiger Eye. And then we have the Eight of Swords from our Hermetic Tarot deck with Red Jasper. All right, so do whatever witchy fun thing you need to do in order to get into the mood for your reading, and I, my friend, will see you there. Group 1, for all of you who chose the Sodalite with our Eight of Swords from the Venetian Tarot, this will be your reading today. So we're going to go ahead and pop the Eight of Swords back in there. We're going to move these cards out of the way, or cards, we'll get into those a little bit later. But let's figure out what it is. Why are you trapped in this Eight of Swords energy? What is the Eight of Swords energy for you? What is like your mental trap? What is the mental trap that's the root of all the others? Let's see what that is, because they all spawn from somewhere. There's some type of trap somewhere that triggers the doubt, the guilt, the shame, the resentment. So let's see what that is, and let's see how we can clear that up. So the King of Wands shot out of the deck. So we have the King of Wands in reverse. We have the Knight of Wands in reverse. Ooh, you do not trust your power, your passion, or your purpose. You don't know what your purpose is. You're like really fighting with purpose. Really, really fighting with purpose. And like your identity. And then we also have the Four of Swords in reverse. I feel like there's one more. Then we have the High Priestess in reverse. I love how we have like this red and this blue. Do you see that like contrast? Let's see what bottom deck is too. And then we have the world in reverse for bottom deck. Interesting, 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 interesting. I love so much how the first two cards we have are like the red, fiery, kind of like warm cards. And then we have the cooler temperature, like blue, kind of darker, more hidden cards. So I really like that. When I say darker, I don't mean like negative. I just mean darker as in like actual color. Sorry, I just want to refocus. Okay, so the mental trap that you're struggling with is you just don't feel complete. The mental trap is you feel incomplete with this world in reverse. This is the overall frequency that I'm seeing with this reading. You don't feel complete, which is interesting because you have the cards the way that they are. You have these two red cards, almost like fire and ice, which is really, really interesting. I think that I use that same saying in another reading, I think earlier this week. I might have to turn the light on because it looks a little dark and I want you to like be able to see the card. So give me 1 second. Okay, perfect. There we go. That's a lot better because these cards are kind of shiny. They're really cool. All right, so the overall frequency, the trap is the incompleteness. So feeling incomplete, and this stems from a lot. This seems like it stems from some form of like abandonment or neglect. There's like this mental trap of like no matter what I do, I'm always going to be abandoned, or I'm always going to be neglected. I'm always going to be second best or not good enough. The trap is really not good enough. Being incomplete basically says not good enough. That is a mental trap that you're trapping yourself in. The funny thing about it is that I see you as all of these people in like one stage in your life. And it's so funny how it's like all of these entities are bringing together and like morphing into one person, which is you. It's almost like a collective consciousness or like a group consciousness or something like inside of you. Like it's really, really cool the way it's showing in my vision, but it seems like you just feel really incomplete, and that is like so far from what is actually happening here. I feel strongly like what is happening is you are so good at so many things, and that you have so many interests, and you have so much that you actually can do and accomplish in this world. And what you're doing is you're trying to see how you can be most beneficial to yourself and others, which is beautiful. However, the trap here is thinking that whatever, like one is more beneficial than the other, like whatever you choose is somehow not going to be good enough than something else. Honestly, this is one of those groups where it's like listen to your heart and actually do what feels good to you. Like there's so much beauty about you. You have this like mysterious element about you. You have like this fun and vibrant element about you. You have this chill and relaxed element. Like you have, like it's like you touch all the bases. Like there's nothing that you lack at all. It just seems like you feel like you lack because you feel like you have this ability to show up in everybody else's life in the way that they want you to show up. Does that make sense? So it's almost like you have the ability to kind of morph your personality or your character in order to better fit your environment, which is a cool skill. It's like a chameleon energy. This is not about being fake or plastic. This is about knowing the energy that the environment is providing to you and then responding to that energy. That's all that is. I don't mean anything by that like you're being fake or you're not being authentic. You are being extremely authentic because you have this ability to do that. There are some people who don't. There are some people who don't know how to read rooms, who don't know how to read energy and different things like that, which is okay. That's also just who they are. They're not designed to do that, and that's fine. You're designed to do this. And it seems like the biggest crook here is not understanding that you're literally designed to do this and you're designed to be this way. You're designed to understand that in your fullness and your wholeness, which is all these different beautiful you're extremely layered. You're multidimensional. You have a lot of layers, and all these pieces of you are sums of a whole, and it seems like you've broken them down into all these many pieces, and you've created them like you're trying to pit them together. Pit them against each other so that you can try to, like, it's almost like a survival of the fittest. Like, you want them to fight and bicker and go to all out war on each other in order for there to be a last man standing. Like, yeah, this is the person I truly am. And it's like, no, all of these pieces play their part in your completion, in your wholeness. I feel like over here with the high priestess energy, there's this element of trying to like deny your shadow aspect and your actual gifts and what you can work with when it comes to shadow. And I feel like over here too with the King of Wands, you're trying to like deny the beauty, the radiance that you radiate, because these two are so confronting. And it seems like you kind of like use the Four of Swords like, think of it like this. Like, this is the commander and this is the army. This is the commander and this is the army. So basically, it's like the King of Wands inside of you is like using this Knight of Wand energy against your like High Priestess energy, while your High Priestess energy is using the Four of Swords against the King of Wands energy. So it's almost like this, the high priestess is basically not allowing you to rest, because it's like you have this shadow, and it's like this shadow is constantly kind of like trying to attack you because it wants you to see the importance of this depth in the soul. And you have this radiance about you that's trying to get you to see the fun and the beauty and the vibrancy that is life, and how fun life simply can be if you allow it to be. And you have over here the world that's just like, if you honor all of these components, we can work, we can get you to see completion, but you have to consent to this completion. You have to consent and submit and honor your shadow just as much as your light, basically, just as much as your light, or your radiance. I remember I'm changing that word. We're not using light versus dark. It's going to take me a while to get out of that language, but radiance and depth, it's like, or shadow, because the high priestess has some good energy about her. However, it does feel like an animal type energy. It's like an anchoring. It's like a low vibrational energy, where it's like it's a craving. It's a hunger for life. It's like a predator. But you don't blame a lion for being a predator. A predator is just doing its job. Like, a predator is literally just doing its job. It's culling so that it can keep herbivore populations down, because if herbivore populations override, what was I would say, if the populations are too large, then they will completely annihilate natural vegetation, and we need that. So it's like understanding that everything plays its part in the world, because I honestly feel like too, like, these are like they're the same energy. One is just on the masculine side of it, of like giving and doing and radiating like the sun, and one is more on the feminine side of it, of receiving, of going into, of the void, of the moon type energy. It's like a suction cup, it almost feels like, where one is like a complete outburst. So I can see how it could be really confusing, where you bounce between both extremes. So it's a beautiful energy of like wanting to receive so much, because the power of feasting, of being full, but also wanting to give so much, because you know that what it feels like to be left hungry. So really the mental trap here is the understanding that you're enough, and there's always enough, and you're literally fine. Like, your shadow self is part of you. Your radiance is part of you, just like any other human being. Like, you don't have to pick and choose which side, you know, because with this Knight of Wands over here, it's like you really are adventurous and fun. Like, you really want a very, very beautiful, vibrant life, but you also want to take a break from overextending, from constantly feeling shameful and guilty. But the shadow side of you is saying, like, you need to understand and actually work through these energies and alchemize them so that you can use them in what you want to give. You know, like when you move forward and teach and when you offer advice to people, the reason why you can offer advice to people on certain situations is because you've been through them and you've overcome them. So this is basically what is happening here with this group. It's basically, the trap is thinking that you're incomplete because you have two sides that are very, very polar. They're very polarized. One is way over here in the radiance and one is way over here in the depth. And it feels like those two are super contradictory and they will never come together. But that is the furthest thing from the truth. They actually attract each other extremely, just like opposites attract. And when you allow them to come together and actually work together and be on the same page of serving you, then that's when you'll truly feel this completion. I love that. We have the Magician right under that too. Exactly. We have the Magician right under that. Right under the World is the Magician, which is what you're moving to, you know, the mastering of the elements. And I love how we have that moon imagery too here on the Magician, which is the same for this high priestess. And we also have like this radiance beaming off of the world with the removal of the mask. And we also have the wand energy here and literal fire on the wand over here for the Knight of Wands. So I honestly feel like this is like your breakthrough is understanding. Your breakthrough of the Eight of Swords is understanding that you're literally complete. Like, neither of those sides need, you know, your doubt, or, you know, like they both are playing their role. Like, allow them to both play their role. Like, one doesn't need to be shut down. Also, this is one of the things too that I want to say with this. With the shadow side can be treated like a child. It doesn't have to be treated like this big monster, even though sometimes it'll show up like that when it's really hungry. And also, you don't have to give into the fear of the shadow side. The shadow side likes to manipulate, and that's why I feel like we had the Magician in reverse at first, because the shadow side likes to manipulate you and get you to think, oh, if you don't do this, then XYZ is going to happen, and blah, 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 blah. And the shadow side is just like trying to trap you into thinking that if you don't respect it or honor it, that it's going to cause some type of crazy thing to happen in your life. And no, that is not the case. What truly needs to be honored in the shadow side is understanding that, one, everybody has one, and two, it's part of your alchemy, part of your beingness, part of your story. So when you can go back and reframe your shadow and give your shadow a new look, a new perspective, that is the beauty of honoring the shadow. That is the beauty of working through your shadow, because you're always going to have flaws, and flaws are not necessarily your shadow. Your shadow basically is the accumulation of all the things you wish you didn't do, or you wish you did, or you wish you said, or all the things you feel like you did that were really unsavory or that were harsh and things like that. Like, it's just basically the shadow energy is the past energy that you hold on to because it is fueled by some form of guilt, shame, or regret. So sometimes the shadow can be very loud and very angry because it so badly wants you to acknowledge it. And sometimes what the shadow side wants you to do is identify with it, as if you identify with it, then that means you are that thing, which makes it really hard to identify with the radiance and the completion, right? See, what we're not doing here is identifying with the guilt and the shame and things like that. What we are doing is bringing awareness to it and loving it all the way up and saying, you know, I forgive, offering it forgiveness, offering your shadow side forgiveness. So say you did something 2 years ago where you stole something from somebody. This is going back in that memory and saying, I forgive myself for this action. This is an action, you know, that I have grown from. and why did I perform that action? Why did I steal? What was my need? What was my desire that was going unfulfilled? You know, actually asking yourself questions about why did I do this, and what drove me to do that, you know, and how do I change this behavior moving forward, right? How do I change this behavior moving forward? How can I alchemize this behavior moving forward? How can I use this as something, as a lesson for me moving forward? You know, this is all about going to the past that you carry in your mind and reframing it, and reframing it. You know, the shadow is not, we're not identifying with the shadow as in, I am this evil, guilty person that stole something 2 years ago. No, 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 no. No, that's not what we're doing, okay? This is all about working through the shadow, not working for and identifying, and I mean, not identifying, but working for and identifying with the shadow, or like becoming the shadow side and completely canceling out your radiance. Because when you bounce back and forth between both of them, that's when you feel very incomplete. That's when you feel very incomplete. So it's basically just knowing that you are an animal because you're human, but also knowing that you're an extremely, you're divine. You're divine, just like every other thing in this world, just like the planets and the stars and the sun. You're divine, and you're always going to be divine. You know, your shadow side or your humanity is never going to cancel that out. So, yeah, that's your trap. Super polarized. It's so amazing how that like came out like that. It's really cool. So let's see what animal message we have today that wants to help you with this polarization of energy that you have. Let's see. You have a blank. I knew it was a blank. I should have just said it before I flip it over. I should have just said it. Well, that makes sense. You have like, there's like a big cat energy here, but I can't, it's kind of hard to discern like which big cat it is. It's like all of them. It's just like a collective of like big cats. Like I'm seeing like Black Panthers and mountain lions and lion, like actual like African lions, and jaguars with their big boxy ambush heads. Wow, I love them so much. Cheetahs, like literally every big cat, you know, that is a big cat is showing up here right now. And it's almost like they want you to like look at them, like analyze what kind of being they are. So honestly, I feel like I want to recommend like going to watch like an animal, like a big cat documentary, and just watching how they roam in packs, like watching like the beauty of something so beautiful and so large, so majestic, but something also so like necessary, like the death that it brings and the endings and the culling, and you know, the shadowy predator I have to kill, I have to hunt type side that it has. It's like it's a complete contrast when you see them bellied up and licking each other and cuddling, and in no way shape or form am I vouching for like go out and like be an actual lion or something. Like, no, that's not what I'm saying at all. But it's just like they're like, look at us, like look at what we are. Like, we are animals, and we're not going to carry around the guilt and the shame, and the fear of every gazelle we've hunted. You know, basically that's what they're saying. Like, we can't feel bad about every, you know, animal we've hunted for our own sustenance, and everything we've done in order to survive and feed our own selves, because that's just the way that we operate, and that's just a level in which we are evolved to. It's basically that, you know. And without us, the planet couldn't survive. You know, without us doing this job, the planet couldn't survive. So like, it's like a collective of big cats basically saying, look at me, look at what we do, look at how we do it. Understand that we have a purpose, and you have a purpose too. So I honestly feel like, too, just like a little career blurb, you probably have some type of like job, or you want some type of job where like you're working for yourself, and you have to like actually bring in people, or you actually have to like go after people who are in need. Now, I'm not saying you're like like some snake oil salesman or something like that. That's not what I'm saying at all. But in order for your business to operate, there has to be someone in need. In order for there to be doctors, there has to be someone that is ill. In order for there to be psychiatrists, there has to be someone who is struggling mentally. You see what I'm saying? That's kind of the element. So it seems like, I honestly feel like you have a job where, in order for your job to actually exist, there has to be someone else out there existing in suffering, and you want to help them through that suffering. You see what I'm saying? Like, even like if you want to be a teacher, like a literal school teacher, like in order for you to teach someone this knowledge, there has to be someone out there who does not have this knowledge. There has to be someone out there in lack in some way. And it seems like that is too where you're very uncomfortable, because it seems like you don't want the world to be in lack at all. You want everybody to have everything that they need. However, with the way that the world is designed and the way it's designed to evolve through us and our beingness and how we're transforming ourselves and each other, there are always going to be people, as of right now, who are in lack, so that the wayshowers, the healers, the teachers, the wise ones can do their job and work the magic through the collective as we all work this magic through each other. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Like, there has to be that gazelle that just gets caught. That's basically the message from the big cats. And again, I'm not advocating for any type of violence or anything like that. I do not want you to think that at all. This is all about like understanding that you have to, not that you have to, but like there's this essence to all humans where we consume each other and we consume other things in order to sustain our own life. You know, we eat meat, we eat plants, we drink water, we're taking something from something else in order to sustain ourselves. So this is basically what they're saying. It's an interesting energy. But it's like, you're like, I want to be like the sun, you know? It's like, what does this, like, where does the sun get its energy? What feeds the sun? It's interesting. What feeds the sun? I feel like that's a question for you to explore. What feeds the sun? I just keep hearing that over and over again. Like, what feeds the sun? It's so interesting. But I feel like I have to leave that for you. All right, so moving on, let's get into your chakra wisdom cards, who they're going to act as advice as to how to continue to move through this Eight of Swords energy, or these mental traps that you have. We have, fifth chakra, throat chakra, with expressing my feelings. I allow my emotions to be fully experienced. I acknowledge feelings of grief, anger, or fear, and I make a conscious effort to express my emotions or resolve them within myself so that I can move forward freely. Exactly like we were saying with the High Priestess. I let the unconditional love experienced in my heart be expressed through my voice and my creativity. I let those close to me know how much I love and care for them. I forgive all those who have done me wrong in the past, as well as forgiving myself, as I could not have responded in a more evolved way than I was able to at the time. Exactly what we were saying. And then our second card, we have radiate warmth and sincerity, just like the sun. Of course, you have this card over here for your fifth chakra, and then we have the fourth chakra over here with your radiance, of course, with radiate warmth and sincerity. I am open to sharing, accepting, communicating, and connecting with others as I focus on this moment, not the past or the future. A smile, a kind-hearted way of speaking, or a hug goes a long way towards uplifting others. I offer care and support where I can without rescuing. I nurture and respect my relationships. Exactly. So this is definitely the King of Wands energy, definitely. And the expressing my feelings is for sure the High Priestess energy. That is for sure the advice that you have here, you know, because I feel like you so strongly want to be of service, and that is your answer. In order for you to radiate this warmth and sincerity, you have to express your feelings, and you have to work through them, you have to alchemize them, you have to turn them into wisdom. So, and that will make you feel a lot more complete in life. I promise you it will. And then your intuitive message for today, we have the Nine of Pentacles with I need to say, my value is not determined by how hard I work or what I can physically produce. Yes, absolutely. I feel like that is definitely something that you've been struggling with too, with this polarization of like this guilt of like, I can't do this, I can do this, like a capability type thing. One of them saying you can, one of them saying you can't. And then our last oracle card for you today, we have Unbound, releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. Exactly. I think that's exactly what you're doing, especially with this high priestess energy where you're being called to go in to do some shadow work. That's exactly what you're doing, is releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. You're clearing the way so that you can have a better flow between your heart chakra and your throat chakra, so that you can really, really radiate that warmth and sincerity and express your feelings. This is all coming together in a beautiful, beautiful way. Like the layers are unfolding so that they connect and be interwoven into each other in a healthy, more blissful way. There's a lot of grace here, a lot of mercy, a lot of like salvation here in this reading. So I really, really like it. I honestly feel like you're going to be fine, and this is just all really part of the process. So, all right. That is your reading for today. I hope all of that made sense. I did a lot of rambling, but I do hope it made sense. You had a beautiful, beautiful message. So really, if you're trapped in this incompleteness, just know that you are complete and you're just bringing the components all together. If this reading did not resonate, that is okay. You are fine. Take what did, and the rest will fall away. You're not obligated to hold on to anything that is not yours. But I do hope this message did resonate, and if it did, go ahead and let me know down in the comments how and what's going on, and how you're working through all this shadow work and things like that. So I hope to hear from you next time, Group 1. I really hope you enjoyed your reading, and much love to you. Bye bye. Hello, Group 2, for all of our friends who chose the Desert Rose, paired with our Murder of Crows Tarot with the Eight of Swords. Blah, blah, blah. This will be your reading today, so I'm going to slide your oracle cards aside, pop that Eight of Swords back in the deck, and let's get some cards. What is going on? What is this Eight of Swords energy for you? What is this? What is your mental trap? The biggest one. Woo! They flew out of there. So we have the Six of Pentacles paired with the Queen of Swords. Ooh, this is a lot of power. There seems like there's a concern about sustainability. Interesting. Let's see. Or like staying power. Yeah, we have Judgment. Yeah. This is interesting. Sorry about the car noises outside. It's nice weather out here. There's something here about sustainability. We have a Six of Pentacles out here, so it's very, very much so. And then we have the Five of Wands that flipped out on my arm. In bottom deck, we have... oh, look what you have bottom deck. Oh, wow. The Eight of Swords. It came right back for you. It's like, oh, we were not done. Interesting. Okay. What's under it? Oh, the Five of Swords. Interesting. Okay. There is an issue here of sustainability, and I'm trying to... I might have to dive a little deeper to get this message, because it's all like coming through very like fast and jumbled, almost like a brain just like blah, 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 like really, really fast, like talking very fast, and it's like going through like multiple possibilities at one time, trying to like almost like slot machine it, like trying to slot machine the best possibility. So it's like, okay. It's like taking your brain, like taking something that you like want to do, and like taking your brain and like cranking it and pulling down, and just like fling, like flinging through all of the possibilities or what could possibly happen, and you're trying to like hit the jackpot. Like it's like you're trying to like resonate with one in your body, or like find one that feels the best. Like you'll hit one and you're like, oh no, I don't like this, and it's like you'll crank it again, and like, what about this, and then crank it in again. Oh, okay, what about that? What there seems like I keep hearing sustainability, issues with sustainability. Like there's a fear of being able to sustain yourself. Like management, sustainable management. Like there's an issue of being able to like sustain. Like you feel like there's a trap here that if you do what you want to do, it seems like there's a lot that you want to do, but it seems like if you do what you want to do, that you are afraid that you won't be able to sustain whatever, like you won't be able to keep it up. Interesting. Like there's like this element of like harshness. Like you're being really harsh. Being extremely harsh, like very, very harsh. Like with this judgment in reverse, I feel like you are being so harsh on yourself. Like it is like unbelievable. Like it's like no human being on the planet should feel this way. Like this is like too much harsh. This is like taking who you are as a person and just like completely like degrading it, which is what we see in that Eight of Swords, funny enough. And we have the the Five of Swords right under that, which the Five of Swords typically talks about like low self-esteem, insecurity, um, uh, or someone just being really childish or infantile. So this feels like it's like you don't take yourself seriously. Like it's like you literally just self-deprecate. It's just like self-flagellance. It's like your antidote to everything. It feels like. This is really interesting. It's like you're coming through as this. It's like you're coming through as this Queen of Swords energy, but like to yourself, not in a good way. It's just like anything that you present with yourself, like an idea or something you want to do, you completely like slice it out. Like you completely just want to get rid of it. Because it's like you're trying to find the right answer, but you're not understanding like literally every answer that you choose can be the right answer. It's just like depends on the way you want to see it. But it's almost like you're this like Queen of Swords here, and like this like shadow like Queen of Swords just kind of like comes out of nowhere, and she just kind of like slices you up into like these like, oh sorry, I wasn't looking at the phone, but like kind of like degrades you, kind of like slices you up into like these like mini like parts, or like these mini pieces, like kind of like fragmenting you or something. It seems like you're being extremely unfair to yourself, like extremely unfair. Like I'm like hot, like just a wash of just heat, just like rolled over my entire skin. It's just like you're like anytime I even touch the judgment in reverse energy, it's like immediate like self-flagellance to the point to where it's just like who would even speak, and I can't say anything because it's probably my pile, but it's like who would speak such words to a child, or to somebody they love, or to a friend or a human being. So it's just like, why are you like doing that to yourself? It's just like really disgusting, really. It's just like very like unnecessary, and very just like it's so self-deprecating. It's just like it's like an abusive relationship with yourself. That's your trap. Like you have an abusive relationship with yourself. Like it's like any dream you have, you just shut it down. Like anything you want to do, you immediately say, I'm not capable, or I'm not worthy, or I don't deserve this. It's like, if you want to be in a relationship, you're just like, oh, well, what if I'm not good enough for this person? What if they don't like the way I look, or the way I cook, or the way I do this? It's like you're trying so badly to like morph yourself into like being this perfect person, or to present yourself as this perfect person, but it's like you're not perfect, and that's fine. And it's like, literally, your imperfection is what makes you perfect. I'm sure you heard that same stupid line the rest of us have heard our entire lives, but it's literally true. Like, you don't have to be perfect to do anything. Like, there seems like, okay, yep, that's what it is. That is where the unsustainability is coming from. This idea that you have to present yourself in a way that is perfect at all times. Like, you have to show up for everybody, you have to do this for everybody, you have to do this for yourself, you have to do this for your healing. And it's like an or else. Like, you attach an or else to it. Like, I have to do this or else, I have to be this or else, like, I have to give or else, I have to heal or else. Like, it's like you attach some form of like a doom to it every single time. Like, no matter what option you give yourself, you attach doom to it. Like, you attach your eventual demise to it. It's very fear-based energy. It's extremely fear-based. Like, so fear-based. Like my eyes are watering. My neck feels tight. I feel so tense. Like, I feel like I need to like move a little bit. It's so fear-based. It's like, I want to do this, but nah, I'm not capable. And then it's almost like you have like this voice inside of you yelling, like, just like like literally like screaming at you and telling you, trying to reinforce why you're not capable and why you're not like this or that or this or that. But it seems like it doesn't matter what route you take, that voice is still trying to present itself. And I honestly feel like what's going to have to happen for you is you need to have backbone when it comes to your own self. You need to have boundaries when it comes to your own self, your own mental space. Like, a lot of times we're so going on about toxic people and toxic behavior and people in your life being toxic towards you, but we don't talk enough about people being toxic to themselves and us being the toxic one in our relationships, in our partnerships, and in our family groups and stuff like that. Like, we don't talk about that enough. Like, sometimes you're the toxic one. Sometimes it's not about what people are doing outside of you. It's about you, the perspective that you have, and you literally toxifying everything, like adding the poison to everything. Like, this is what this message feels like. I'm sorry if it's like triggering or harsh, but honestly, it honestly feels like anything that you do or you have, you add poison to it. You like attach some type of doom or some type of demise to it. Like, it always has, like, you're like always looking for the negative. Like, it's like you're chasing the negative. Like, you're like trying to prepare for it, but you don't understand, like, in you trying to prepare for the negative, you're like attracting it, or like you're like making it so. And it's almost like you're doing this because you want to like prove yourself right. Like, you're like, oh yeah, I knew that was going to happen because nothing good ever happens to me. Like, that's what this feels like. It feels so toxic. I know it sounds so harsh. And I don't want you to take this as you being a bad person. I feel like you're just extremely unhealed. Like, you're not giving yourself enough space to heal. Because it's like, even when you're healing, you're just like, oh, I'm not doing this good enough. Or, this didn't happen, that means it's not meant to happen. And it's not meant to happen because I'm a bad person. And I suck. And I'm always going to struggle. And I'm incapable. But it's like, you always try to be perfect in everybody else's lives or in the outside world. But in your inside world, you're like destroying yourself. And like, you can't do both at the same time. Like, it's unsustainable. It's unsustainable. It's completely unsustainable. Like, that part of you that is just pretty much literally all out attacking you, I would say, first of all, sit down and have a conversation with it. What is it actually asking for? Are you lonely? Are you depressed? Is there some childhood trauma that's coming up that you want to work through that you haven't touched in a while? Are you defensive? You know, like, what is it that you're afraid? Like, this voice is screaming because it's afraid of something. Because that's what we do when we're afraid. We yell when we're afraid and when we're angry. And a lot of times when we're angry because we're afraid. We're afraid of something. We're afraid that our future is not going to unfold the way it is. We're afraid that we're going to suffer the same fate that we saw somebody else suffer. We're afraid, and that's why we're angry, and that's why we have uprising and things like that, because there's like this uprising that's happening, but it's like it's not going in, like, if you are listening to the self-deprecation and you're identifying with it, it's like that's not the uprising that we need. Like, we need you to uprise within your own self and say, you know what, no, I am a great person. Like, I'm fine. Like, literally look at everybody else. Like, literally, we're all toxic. We're all doing the same trash stuff. You know, like, we're all doing it. It's like you're not being realistic. I feel like so like, ugh, like I'm putting so much like attitude in it, but I just get like, I'm just so like, I feel physically upset because it just seems like you're being extremely harsh and extremely unfair to yourself, and it's just not fair. It feels very unjust. It feels extremely unjust as to how hard you are going after yourself, and not understanding is that hardness that you're putting onto yourself, no matter how you try to present yourself to the outside world, you're still adding that poison to everything. It doesn't matter how you present yourself to the outside world, it's still seeping through, because people can see you. You're not invisible. People can see you and see what you're doing, you know. And I feel like there are people around you too who just question. They're just like, why are you like this? Like, why do you go so hard on yourself? Like, why are you so hard on yourself? Like, why are you so harsh? Like, why are you so violent? Like, you're literally violent to your own self. Like, why? Like, why is it that deep? Like, why is it that bad? You know, like, what can we do to support you? Like, how can we help you? But I honestly feel like what needs to happen is you need to take the reins in your own body and in your own mind. Like, honestly, you this is a reading where you can't submit to everything that you hear in your mind or in your body, because a lot of times it's old conditioning, and it's literally just like trauma and guilt and shame and stuff like that, just trying to repurpose itself, or it's trying to like re-experience itself in a cycle over and over and over again, because that's the only way it knows how to continue living, is by experiencing itself over and over again. And it's like, that's not the life you want to live. So it's like, why are you doing this? Like, you literally are working toward being free, but it's like this inner voice that you have is like always coming to shut you down. And it's like you submit to it because you feel like if you hear it on the inside, that means it's true. And that's not true. There's a lot of things that we hear on the inside that are not true. There's a lot of things on the inside that we hear that are not true. Why? Because they stem from the past. They stem from insecurity. They stem from low self-confidence and low self-esteem. They stem from other people's opinions. They stem from conditioning and societal conditioning and societal standards that are total BS. Like, there's a lot of things that you're going to hear on the inside. Like, literally, let me put it this way. It's okay to be critical of yourself and your behaviors and your actions. That's how you grow and you evolve. But when you're self-deprecating and you're literally destroying yourself inside, that's not okay. That's not the energy we're on. That's not the vibe. That's not how you heal. That's not how you forgive yourself. That's not how you do this. Like, I just want to take it like, it's not how you do this. Like, spirit and the universe and your spiritual team doesn't care about like how much you hate yourself. Like, that doesn't like do anything for them. That doesn't make them see, like, just because you feel such a deep sense of remorse doesn't make you a better person. Like, if you're not offering yourself the same compassion and love and forgiveness that you want to offer other people, then you're not doing the work. Like they like trying to be like, oh, I'm this sinful being who must be struck down by lightning and destroyed and crucified. Like that does nothing for spirit or the universe. Like it does literally nothing. Like it's just like, no, why are you doing this? That's not the move. Like that's not healing. That's not what this is about. Yes, bring awareness to your behaviors, bring awareness to whatever you consider your bad habits are, your sins or whatever. Bring awareness to it, because we're going to alchemize it, right? But when you continuously identify with it, especially to this degree, you're destroying yourself, you're destroying all your joy and your happiness, and you're pushing it to this far off future that you're afraid won't even happen. Like it's just like, it's a huge trap. And it's in what you're practicing right now is unsustainability, when really you want to practice sustainability. And if you want to practice sustainability, what does a proper team need for sustainability? They need people willing to do the work, and they need healthy management, positive reinforcement, help, support. We've all been in those toxic work environments where there was no support, you were underpaid, overworked, your coworkers were trash, you didn't like it, all it was gossip and drama and constant bickering and fighting and people talking bad about each other. Like that is literally the system that you have designed inside for your own self, and that system needs to change. It's not right. It's not right. I feel that so strongly from these cards. Like it's not right. Like the Five of Wands, I am so glad it's here, because it's like literally, if you need one card here to pair with your Eight of Swords, it's the Five of Wands. But I feel so strongly that you are this Queen of Swords. Like you're powerful beyond belief, capable beyond belief. But it's like the other side of that Queen of Swords is this strong desire to be right and to be perfect and to be righteous. And it's like to be the perfect human being, the responsible one, the reasonable one. And then you pick out all the ways in your past, present, and even possibly your future where you failed at that. And it's like, I can never be this, or I'm not the Queen of Swords, I can't have this powerful, potent energy because I can't be that all the time. You know what I'm saying? But you're literally that all the time. You're that in your weakness. You're that in your strength. It doesn't matter. You're still that. So it's like, when you are in your weakness, don't use it against yourself. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's like beating a horse when it's down. Like it's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. This is like, imagine like being a doctor and somebody comes to you and they're like, I have a cold. I have a common cold. Can you please help cure me and help, relieve me of this cold? And you're just like, I cannot help you because you should have done this better. You should have done this. You should have done that. And maybe you wouldn't get the cold. You know what? Actually, I'm not even going to give you the cure for this cold here. What I'm going to do is offer you an even worse disease or influenza than what you already have, because you know what, you need to suffer in order to feel the the mistake. You need to feel your mistake. I couldn't even find the word, but like, you need to feel the wrath of you making the wrong decisions over and over. Like, this is what this feels like. This is literally like going to somebody inspecting, like, I want to heal, I want to move past this, and they literally do the opposite, and they just do nothing but degrade you and tell you how wrong and how stupid and how dumb you are because you didn't do something in your past. If you went to a doctor right now and they literally said that to you, you would turn around and you would probably sue. So it's like, literally, don't do that to yourself. Stop it, group 2. Stop it. It's not fair, and you need to see it that way. It's unjust. It is not fair. It is not fair. If justice was out here, it would be in reverse. It's not fair. It's not balanced. This is very imbalanced. That's why it's unsustainable, because it's not balanced. You have to give to yourself, and you have to offer yourself radiance. You have to offer yourself goodness. You have to offer yourself joy and abundance, free of shame and guilt. If you continuously drive yourself in the ground with shame and guilt, thinking that somehow absolves you of your sins, you're wrong. It's not balanced. It's not like Your heart is not going to be lighter than a feather just because you self-deprecate. Like, no, that's not how this works. I feel like I'm being so spicy, but it's just like kind of annoying. It's like, no, like this is no. You can obviously bring awareness to the behaviors that need changing and shifting. When you bring your awareness to them, the universe is going to conspire for that evolution. You don't have to do anything. You just have to think it. But you have to also allow it. And with you self-deprecating like this and constantly like killing all of your dreams and all of your goals, you're literally self-sabotaging in the worst way. Like, as long as you do this, you're going to constantly be faced with the same cycles because it's like you're not allowing yourself to see what you're truly doing. Like, that's what's happening here. It's like, no, you don't, it's unfair. Be nicer to yourself, group 2. Be nicer to yourself. You literally have the star on your bottom deck for the collective reading. You had the star. Okay? You have the star. Be kinder to yourself. Be gentle with yourself. You're a great person. You make mistakes. You made mistakes like everybody else, and you're going to continue to make them. But it's time to learn from them and stop allowing them to eat away at you, literally destroying your insides. No, we're not doing that. We're not doing it. Not doing it anymore. So let's look at the animal messages you have today that want to bring you some inspiration and some help moving through this energy. You have you have salmon, and I always say this bird's name wrong, the grouse or the grouse. Okay, so it's funny because this bird is all about like shaking tail feathers, getting out there, dancing, having fun, and the salmon is all about swimming up current, surmounting challenges. So that's exactly what you need to do. That is your medicine. Your medicine for this Eight of Swords energy group 2 is doing the difficult thing and standing up to your own self. This is taking that sword that you have in your hand and standing up to your own self. Taking the sword and cutting all of this BS that is around you, because you can't, I know that the voices are probably really loud and very angry, and they fill you with doubt and fear and anger and resentment and all these other things. But you have to do the challenging thing and move past them. You have to allow yourself to see the other side of this. And with this Groose energy, or this is really coming through as bring more joy into your life. Do things that you enjoy. Stop feeling so guilty about literally everything. Life is meant to be fun. It's not meant to always be taken so seriously. Have fun. Please have fun. That is your medicine. Honestly, I would, if I were you too, I would just go like watch. Everybody's getting this recommendation today. Watch some type of nature film with birds. It could be the Grouse in particular, and watch maybe something with salmon and just kind of watch how they walk. I mean, not walk, watch how a fish walks. Watch how they swim up current and things like that. Like how they replenish their gills. Like kind of just like work with this energy. Like seriously, like take time out for yourself, guilt-free. Have your power hour and work with the energy of surmounting challenges, moving through and having fun, getting to the other side of something. It's like you're not allowing yourself to get to the other side of something because you're so caught up on all these little things that eventually just won't freaking matter. You know, like you're not 5 years from now, you won't even think about half the stuff that you're thinking about now. So it's like, let it go. Literally, you know. So your chakra wisdom card for this reading for more advice is patience. As I observe in nature, growth takes time. This is a time of reflection, persistence, and surrender as things unfold at their own pace. I remain calm and tolerant during any challenging times. I develop quiet hope and expectations based on trust both in myself and in a higher power. Exactly. So you're probably too like pushing yourself harder because you want, like I was saying, like you're pushing yourself harder because you want to get to some distant future, or a future that you feel distant, or even if you feel like the future is right there in front of you and you're like, how do I touch it? And I have to like be this and do this and do that. And when it doesn't happen immediately, like when you don't hit the jackpot after you hit that slot machine in your brain, you're just like, what the heck? This too is definitely about being, that is probably the overall, I don't understand why I didn't even like get this before. I'm glad that it came through. This is about being patient with yourself. This is about being patient with yourself, surmounting your challenges, moving through your obstacles, and enjoying yourself and loving yourself through it, not destroying yourself through this process, through this unfoldment. This is definitely about being patient with yourself, because what you're doing right now is unsustainable. You cannot be perfect, and you being perfect is not going to like get you some divine handout or something like that. You see what I'm saying? Be patient with yourself. I'm so glad that came through. I feel like there was like a word in the back of my head, in the lower like back of my head. I'm like, I don't know what that word is. I'm just gonna like let it go, and there it is right there. Oof. So your intuitive message for this reading is the 8 of Pentacles with, I have done the work. I enjoy my craft. I love that. Allow your unfoldment. Allow your unfoldment. Allow it. Allow it. Allow it. Allow it. Allow yourself to heal. Allow yourself to have fun with it. Allow this to be about you healing. Allow this to be about you learning about yourself. Allow this to be about you letting go of old behaviors and old things that just don't matter anymore. You know? Allow yourself to have fun with how far you've already made it. There's a very, very, very beautiful underlying energy here that you're just not seeing. I have done the work. I enjoy my craft. It is like, it's time for you to put more enjoyment, joy into your craft and what it is within your own stuff that you're building. So let's flip over your work your light card and see what this has to say for you. Awakening, of course. Energetic upgrades, a new way of being, integration. Of course, absolutely. There's no absolutely. I love how you have the integration card when you have the 8 of Swords as well. I love that. Especially too, since that bottom piece of her can represent too like cocoon type energy as well. I love so much these oracle messages for you, because it's almost like a replenishment. It's like a seeing the trap, identifying the trap of this unsustainable like networking of self-flagellance, you know, and like trying to like obtain some goal or reach some place in your life, and you feel like because you haven't reached it that it's not meant to be or something like that. And this is about, basically, it's all part of the process, and the healing that you've been doing for yourself, and the way in which you've been trying to work, and the way in which you've been trying to be of service, and not only to yourself and to others. You've done the work. So literally stop adding poison to everything. Stop attaching doom. This is your confirmation. You don't have to do that. It's unnecessary. It's unnecessary to attach the doom and the fear and all that to your inner workings and what is actually happening for you. Oof, 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 oof. All right, group 2, had to like set back in. That is your reading for today. I really hope that it resonated, but if it did not, that is okay. Take what did, and the rest will absolutely fall away. You're not obligated to hold on to anything that is not yours. But I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I'll see you next time, friend. Bye-bye. Hello, group 3, for all of you who chose the Necronomicon deck with the 8 of Swords from said deck. Kind of crazy looking. And the Tiger Eye. Really cool stone. This will be your reading for today. So we're going to check in and see, like, what is your mental trap? Where are you trapping yourself? This is about your mental space. and what we can do to soothe that or bring some awareness to that. So I really like the readings so far. They've been really great. So really excited. Let's see. Okay, we have the Queen of Wands shooting out of there. Beautiful, beautiful card. It's such a beautiful card. We have, whoa, we have the Hanged Man, the Well of Sarah, and then we have the King of Wands. I feel like I want to get one more. Interesting. Okay. You've trapped yourself in this idea of sacrifice. We have the Ten of Pentacles and the Magician fly out, but they feel like they want to be mentioned, but they're not the necessary card for this reading. Then we have the Five of Discs. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I was gonna say that. It seems like you're starving your ability to receive because you feel like, and let's see what your bottom deck. Oh, Ace of Swords. These cards look crazy. They're pretty cool though. It seems like your overall frequency here is just literal, like most of these readings, but yours is like the biggest, like your antidote is a new perspective. Like, honestly, it seems like you are starving your ability to receive based on whether or not what you're willing to sacrifice. Like, you're constantly, you're in this tit for tat trap where you're like, oh, I must sacrifice this in order to gain that. That's why the Five of Pentacles is out here with the Hanged Man. I honestly feel like there's this idea that you constantly have to sacrifice in order to gain, and that's just not how it works. It seems like you are someone who has the ability to give and pour and overflow. Like, you can give and receive and overflow almost like in a constant state, and it's beautiful. But I feel like right now, with this Eight of Swords trap, you've convinced yourself that you can't do that because you have to sacrifice. And the reason why you feel like you have to sacrifice is because there is this element here of feeling not good enough, or like you want to practice some form of altruism. Like, you're trapped in that mindset of you have to give to others before you give to yourself. That's what your mental trap is. Yours is very simple. Like, it seems like you're doing your best. You're doing the best you can for yourself and for others, but it seems like this weird relationship you have with sacrifice is the biggest thing. And it's like you really just need a new perspective on what sacrifice actually means. And really what the new perspective is sacrifice. Like, you don't have to sacrifice everything you have just to make other people happy. You don't have to give of yourself when you don't have enough in order to be a good person, basically. Like, just because you're someone who has a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of money, does not mean that you have to give those things to people freely without receiving, because that's what a good person does. Like, no, that is toxic. And that's not what a good person does. Like, we have to release this idea that good people are only people who help each other, and that bad people are only people who help themselves. That is BS. That is BS. People are designed to help themselves and help each other, and they help each other through the way that they help themselves. Okay, now there are some people who are greedy, and there's some people who are greedy and who so badly want to be seen as a better person than the person who takes and stuff like that. And it's just it's all really just BS. And there are people who are just, who take, and they don't want to give. They just accumulate. And that's because they have a poverty consciousness. But both sides of the spectrum have a poverty consciousness. You feel like in order to be a good person, you need to be in poverty or not have enough. And you kind of resent people who have more than enough and they don't help people like you. But it's weird because it's it's like, if they gave you enough, would you still feel like they're a bad person? Like, would you still feel like you're a good person because you have more than enough now? are you going to sacrifice everything that you have and give everything that you have to help everybody else just because you have it to give? Do you want to give it? You know, like, this is what this energy is like. It's like you literally are the full embodiment of this Queen of Wands, King of Wands energy. I feel like you're very balanced. You're very like oof, like it's a good radiant energy. It's very illuminating. It's very warm and inviting. You have a very good energy about you, but I feel like you're in this phase of like recognizing that self-sacrifice isn't just the way to be a good person. You know, and it's like sometimes you try to like use that against people, like, oh, I did this for you and blah 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 blah, like I self-sacrificed. It's like literally they didn't ask you to do that, and that's the thing, which is true. They didn't ask you to do that. You know, if you're allowing yourself to have your ability to give to be manipulated by other people who want to take, hey, you know, because you're doing the same thing, there's something that you're getting out of that exchange as well. You're getting some type of ego boost, some type of like personality validation, some type of something that you're getting out of that exchange. You know, you want to feel like the better person, or like, oh, I did the right thing. Like you kind of want that, like that little the little token of, oh, you get a star today because you were nice to Billy Bob. You know, last week you gave him your toothbrush. You know, like you know, like that's what it feels like you want this, like, oh, I'm a better person because I did the right thing. And it's like belittling other people who you consider people who didn't do the right thing, because that boosts your own self. But it seems like you're like moving out of this. You are definitely moving out of this. You're definitely like offering yourself a new perspective. Ooh, what's under? Two of Cups. Interesting. Interesting. I love how we have the Two of Cups with both the King and the Queen of Wands here. So I honestly feel like you are offering yourself a new perspective. Like you're just offering yourself a way to look at things a little differently, because self-sacrifice is BS. It's really BS. You're not a better person just like that stupid post that's floating around, like, oh, I gave you $10, they gave you 20. I only had 10, but they had 200. That is the BS self-sacrifice that is literally stupid. Like, if you only had $10, why are you giving your last $10 to somebody else? You know, like, that doesn't make you a good person. It makes you just irresponsible. And why are you not taking care of yourself? It just feels very stupid to me, just to put it plainly. You know, and like self-sacrifice is just like, there's nothing wrong with helping other people, but when you're constantly putting yourself at a disadvantage by sacrificing your own self and your own means and your own resources, where your well is running dry, then what happens is you usually end up being really resentful and being really angry at the world and everybody else, and like, why isn't this person helping me, or why isn't this person doing this for me, or why isn't this happening in my life? I'm a good person. And it's like, no, you're not a good person. You're just a person. Nobody's a good or bad person. They're just peopling. They're just humans humaning, you know, just being. You know, it doesn't have to be this constant battle between who's right and who's wrong and blah blah this and blah blah that, or I'm better than you because I gave this person the last little bit of money I had. You know, it's like kind of like our parents do that too. You know, like, I did this for you, I raised you, blah 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 blah. It's like you literally didn't have to do any of that stuff. You chose to do it, and you chose to do it because you felt like you had an obligation, and I'm sure it's because you felt like you love me and you want to take care of me, you want to help me. But don't use it against me in the future when you want something from me because you were running an underflow and you didn't know how to balance that. You know, like, this is that energy basically of just like, this is very simple. This is very simple. It's probably gonna be the fastest one. Because I don't feel like there's anything here where you need to like work on or work through or like whatever. It feels honestly like just reevaluating what sacrifice and self-sacrifice feels for you. So I honestly feel like that's what the Five of Pentacles is representing, or the Five of Discs, because it's almost like this kind of like self-rejection. Like you're trying to reject yourself for the things that you know that you need, because it feels like you need a lot and you're afraid to feel like you need a lot, because if you feel like you need a lot, then it feels like you're making yourself just like the people who have so much and don't do anything with it. But it's like literally you're a different person. For one, you're you know your own slice of consciousness in this collective, so there's that. But it's also like you have free will to do what you want. Like, just be a little bit more confident. Like, trust that your future self will respond accordingly when you are replenished, and trust that you'll be able to do the things that you want to do with your money and your time and your energy and all that stuff. Like, this is like just having a little more faith in your future self too. Because there's like this fear I see here with the Hangman, that if you get all of these riches, if this treasure chest is unlocked or something like that, that like you're gonna end up like some stingy, good for nothing rich person, which is what you think. I honestly feel like you have this type of mentality. You feel like you're gonna end up just like, I hear someone saying, I don't want to end up just like them when it comes to somebody being rich. Like, you don't want to end up like the celebrities who just, their faces all look the same because they're getting plastic surgery from the same doctors apparently, and they're just hoarding money, and they spend their money on cars and clothes and blah blah this and blah blah that, and like, all that stuff is cool, and they can do whatever the heck they want to do with their money. That is none of your business. That is one of the things that you need to recognize too, is that other people's money, other people's time, other people's energy is literally none of your business. This is like getting out of your own way when it comes to this stuff. Like, you don't have to be like them, and if you choose to, guess what? It's a choice that you are making. Like, this is also to taking more responsibility for your own choices, like understanding your freedom of choice and your free will. Just because you have the means doesn't mean that you're going to use them in the same way that other people do. Like, just because you have the money to get plastic surgery doesn't mean you're going to go get plastic surgery. Just because you have leisure time doesn't mean that you have to spend that leisure time calling a friend or being around other people because people want you around or something like that. Like, you don't constantly have to sacrifice and give to other people. Like, you really don't. You should do that honestly when it feels comfortable for you, because if it's not comfortable for you, that's when you breed resentment, and that's when you're tired, you're exhausted, you use way too much energy, and you're wondering why you're drained and why you don't feel well. You need to like manage your energy so much better. Like if you're around a certain type of person or certain group of people that you feel really drained around, create some distance. That's okay. Like, you don't constantly have to be in this person's energy field in order to give to them, just because you know how much joy you produce, when you're or how much joy they seem to have when they're around you. This could even be a significant other. Like, if your significant other is kind of smothering, like, hey, I need some space. Like, this is one of those things where you just kind of have to like set some boundaries with not only other people's behavior, but your own behavior too. Like, you need to better understand like how to manage your own time, energy, money, and space. Like, if there's just someone or something that you're around that's just draining you, or you like, I want to do this thing, but I'm gonna do this other thing because that will make that other person happy. Like, like, this is one of those things where you just kind of have to like change your perspective on it. Like, this self-sacrificing is just a no-go. This is also a group where it's just like this, it feels a little unsustainable. Like, it's not like what you're doing is not necessary. Like, you're trying to prove to yourself and other people that you're a good person by like sacrificing your time and energy and like, I don't know, trying to like be the life of the party in every group and stuff like that. And it just feels very unnecessary. Like, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. You don't have to prove anything to yourself, because really at the end of the day, that's all you're doing. If you are trying to prove that you're a good person, you're literally only trying to prove that to yourself. And you just want the outside validation to feed what you're trying to feed in your own self, basically. Like, you're not a good person. You're not a bad person. You're literally just a person existing and living and wanting to live a certain life. And I honestly feel like you do want to live a life that is so much more than what you already have obtained. And you will. I honestly feel like you will. But you have to stop rejecting that desire for yourself. You have to own it. Like, you have to own it wholly. Like, you have to own it. Honestly. Like, the way that he is clinging to this book, I honestly feel like this is like your desire. And you just have to own it. You just have to take care of it, and you have to like allow it to manifest. You know, regardless of the rejection and the humiliation or the fear that you may feel, like, this is one of those people who, like, goes their whole life without trying something, and they finally try it, and they're like, oh, this isn't that bad. This is actually, you know, like, delicious. I like this. I enjoy this. But then, you know, they feel like that embarrassment, that kind of humiliation, because it's like they talk so bad about it their entire life, and they swore up and down that they would never do it, and they would never try it, and they try, and they actually really enjoy it. This is basically that energy. This is that, you know. You know, like, I feel like you have desires and stuff that you want to do in the world, but you're trying to, like, seem like you're the better person because, oh, I don't want this type of lifestyle, I don't want to be around these type of people, I don't want, you know, but it's like you have a secret desire to do so. Like, you have a secret desire to at least, like, be on the same level, like, financially especially, but, like, spiritually too. Like, you want to thrive in this world. You don't want to survive, you want to thrive, especially with that King and Queen of Wands out here. You want to find your proper positioning and placement in this world, and you know that where you are now is not that, so you're striving to be that. But it's like you're also wanting to heal, but you think that healing means that self-sacrifice. You think that healing means I have to constantly provide for others, and it's like, no, provide for yourself first, give to others later, you know. And you can always help others, you know. And if you feel like, hey, I got $5 in my pocket and I just want to help somebody with $5 today and that's all I have in my pocket, if you want to do that, great, fine. But stop trying to use it as something to make it seem like you're better than other people because you do that, because you're not. Like, it's just like, it's very, like, plain and simple. It's like very, like, egoic, you know, like, in a way where it's like, yeah, you can help people, you can be of service, it's fine to just be of service, but you don't have to, like, use it to, like, belittle other people who aren't being of service in the way that you are. You know, everybody has their role to play in this life, on this planet. They're just playing a role just like you are. This is very simple. So let's get into your animal cards, the animals who want to support you with this Ace of Swords, this Eight of Swords energy. I love how you have the Ace of Swords, because I feel like the clarity that you need is just, like, here, like, right here. You know, I honestly feel that. What was your oh, the Magician. The Magician was bottom deck originally for the collective message of our group. So I love it. It makes total sense. It makes total sense. Mastery. So your animals are the blue heron, pulling your head out of the freaking water. Stop trying to make everything about yourself. And the dolphin. Yep. Yep. Knowing that literally the same air that you're breathing, literally we all are breathing. The same oceans and everything that you're enjoying, the same earth that you are enjoying and you want to enjoy, is the same home that every single person that you love and that you hate is enjoying. You live in the same house. You know, like, this is, like, literally, like, kind of like a getting out of your own way, kind of like getting out of your own head type energy, you know, like honoring the fact that everybody is just on their own path and doing their own thing, and you know what you want to do with your life, so stop denying yourself that, you know. Like, I feel like with the blue heron in reverse is basically just stop denying yourself what you actually want in life. Stop trying to be around people who you feel like, oh, they could use my help, I have to sacrifice my time and energy because I want to help them. And it's like, yeah, you can help people, but when you're doing it to try and prove that you can help people, it's, like, not genuine. It's insincere is what it feels like. It feels very insincere. You know, it's just like you're not doing it out of the generosity of your heart. You're doing it because you don't want to look like a bad person. That's why you're doing it, and that's, like, kind of weird, low key. You know, like, and I've been there. Like, I've definitely been there. Like, that's why I can, like, say this stuff and be like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I get it. It's weird, low key, you know, that we have this, like, weird thing that we do where it's like, I want to seem like a good person. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and pretend to be a good person, but when things don't go my way, or I don't like it, or I feel drained and people aren't giving to me and stuff like that, it's like almost like a giving, but with an expectation that, you know, you're going to be repaid. And it's like, yeah, you should have the expectation that, like, good things are going to come to you, but it's like you don't know where they're going to come from. You know, you should expect good things to happen to you and other people, you know, regardless of whether you help them or not, or whether they help you or not. you know, but this is more of like the expectation that, you know, people are always going to help you if you help them, or people should, and when they don't, there's like some resentment that comes up, or when they don't, you're just like, oh, whoa, like I thought I was a good person, why is this happening to me? This shouldn't be happening to me. I'm a good person. It's like you have to like stop thinking that you're a good person. And I know that sounds terrible to say, but it's like the way that you think about it is more egoic, in the sense that, oh, I'm a good person. That means that there are hella other bad people out there that just aren't like me, that aren't on the same level. And, you know, I have to belittle those people because I'm better than those people. And no matter how much money and blah, blah, blah they have, I'm better than them. Like, it seems very egoic. So I honestly feel like the blue heron is like, pull your head out of the water, get out of your own way, and get over yourself. Like, you're fine, okay? Like, you can have the life that you want to have. You can live the life that you want to live. You don't have to belittle everybody in the process. You know, you don't have to like take that route. There's different ways. You know, allow people to just be who they are and play their roles. And if you don't like the role they're playing in your life, guess what? You know what to do. Boundaries. Cut them off. Let them go. Distance. You know. So let's get into your chakra wisdom card and see. I like pulled it up like immediately. I didn't even think about it. Oh, I love this. Unconditional love. That makes total sense. Offering unconditional love to yourself and everybody else. You know, where it's unconditional. It's not about it. Oh, look at this. I allow myself to be open to giving and receiving love without fear of rejection. I give without expecting recognition or acknowledgement in return. When I am loving to others, I am helping bring out the innate love within them so they also feel uplifted, worthy, and cared for. I love myself the way I am, not the way I was or could be, and I extend this love to others. I teach others how to love and respect me by how I love and respect myself. Exactly. That's exactly what we're saying. That's exactly what we were saying. Like, I didn't even want to like talk anymore. I was like, here's a card. Like, this is what you need to hear, group 3. You know, I give without expecting recognition or acknowledgement in return. I love myself the way that I am, not the way I was or could be. And I extend this love to others. There you go. And your intuitive message for this reading, you have the 10 of Pentacles. What I need to say, I am here to build and leave a major legacy. Of course, and you know that. You know that. And you're trying to deny that. You're trying to reject that. You have to love yourself the way you are. That means trusting and loving that desire that you have, because you know what you're here to do. And then your work, your light card, we have Warrior Woman. Have you answered your deepest calling? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love how that card came out, because it's like, you know your deepest calling. You know what's true for you. It's like, you know what's true for you, but you're so afraid to like move forward with it. Look at that. You have the Ace of Swords. Literally, like literally, this is you. Like, literally, this is you. Literally, this is you. You know, literally is you. So it's just like, you're playing yourself. You're playing yourself, trying to be mediocre and small and trying to be reasonable and always compromising and super negotiable and always like, it's like, start with unconditional love for yourself. You love yourself no matter what, no matter how ugly you feel like you look that day, no matter how mean you are, no matter how unforgiving you feel like you may be. Love yourself first. And when you practice loving energy and loving language with yourself, you'll be able to extend that with others. Like when you say, you know what, I forgive you today. Guess what you can say to someone else? You know what, I forgive you today. You know what I'm saying? It's like practicing that loving language and that loving energy with yourself. And like, you are the best teacher. You're going to teach yourself how to do that for others. You see what I'm saying? So it's like not about like trying to prove to other people and getting like the validation from other people that you're a good person. It's just taking care of yourself and knowing, you know, that you're an amazing person. You're absolutely wonderful. You're special. And so is everybody else. And everybody should feel that way. You know? This is that. This is like, stop denying yourself the things that you want to actually experience in your life and the things that you actually want to give to others. If you want to give unconditional love to others, guess who it has to start with? You. If you want to forgive others, guess who it has to start with? You. You know what I'm saying? Your confidence, your self-esteem, all that stuff starts with you first. You know what I'm saying? So this is definitely, you know what you're here to do. You're not stupid. You know, you're not dumb. You know exactly what you're here to do. You know exactly what you want. You're not dumb. You're fine, okay? And allow that to be. Love yourself through this process. I promise you, if you change the language within your body for yourself and just know that you're an amazing person, regardless if you give somebody spare change or not today, like change that language with yourself and you're going to change it for all others. Honestly, change your language, group 3. That is your underlying message. Change your language, trust in your legacy, trust in unconditional love for yourself. All right. I just want to scream like, answer that calling. You know what it is. All right, group 3. That is your reading for today. I really hope it resonated. And if it did not, that is okay. Take what did resonate and let the rest fall away. You're not obligated to hold on to anything that is not yours. All right. So with that being said, I will see you next time. And again, I really hope you enjoyed the reading. Let me know down in the comments how it resonated with you. And I will see you in our next reading, friend. Bye-bye. Group 4, hello for all of our friends who chose the red jasper paired with our Hermetic Tarot 8 of Swords today. This will be your reading. And what we'll be looking at today is a mental trap that you have laid for yourself and how we can work through that. So we went ahead and put the 8 of Swords right back in the deck, and we already have cards falling out. We have Death in reverse. So we want to get these cards and see what trap you laid for yourself and how we can help work through that. Ooh, interesting. 7 of Pentacles with Lord of Success Unfulfilled. You have to let bygones be bygones. Group 4. Let bygones. This is like, it is what it is. Let bygones be bygones. You feel what you feel. You know what you know. You need what you need. You trust what you trust. You're similar to group theory where you're transforming a language inside of you, especially in regard to success and failure and what it means to feel unfulfilled. Interesting. Okay. And then we have the Hierophant. And then we have the 8 of Pentacles. Actually turn it up so you can see, which is in reverse. And then we have the King of Pentacles in reverse. Let me show you. Interesting. And then bottom deck we have oh, we got the Tower. Yeah, it's like you're definitely transforming a language or like a way of being or like something that you like thought for a really, really long time. Okay. So the language that you're transforming, which is a little similar to group 4, is that you're transforming what hard work actually and labor actually look like. Like you have for so long been rooted in like the method of blood, sweat, and tears. It all has to be hard. Life has to be hard in order for you to be successful. And I honestly feel like the Hierophant is coming through and offering you a new way of being through the internal gods. I honestly feel like there is this understanding that there is more, like life is so much more of a mystery than we allow it to be. And we always think that we have all the answers, that we can just work our way through everything, that we can, grit our teeth, bare our knuckles through everything. And just, if we push hard enough, if we work hard enough, that we'll be a better person for it. But along the way, we forget all the people who supported us, all the times where there were literally miracles. I honestly feel like this is the energy of like watching out for miracles and allowing spirit to do for you what you can't do for yourself, because there's this energy here of you like transforming in a big way, and it's taking so much more energy, time, emotional energy, spiritual energy mental energy and time than you want it to take, or than what you're trying to allow it to take. And it's like, allow it to take its time. However, like, it's like a huge transformation too. It's like going from one level of being and existing as a human being to another. And they really, really want you to know that, like, this is not about like success through, the white knuckle method, like your typical human means. Like, I'm capable of working hard, I can work 40 hours a week. It's also like not boasting like this overextension of work, or like what you can do to work. um it's like very, very rooted in our physical reality, like we always try to like boast people who work really hard, and like, oh, we don't like people who just got it easy or have the easy life, or people who have trust funds, or people who have really rich parents and their parents just buy everything. We always try to like talk down on those type of people. But honestly, it's just like such a waste of time to do that, because that could have easily been any of us as well. And we try to like minimize like people who have money, who have resources. We try to like minimize their problems because we don't have access to the money they have. And it's like, how can you have problems when we can't even eat and stuff like that? Which to a certain extent is true. There's a lot of hoarding that goes on with money and stuff like that. And sometimes there are people who just get really, really lucky, and they didn't really have to work as hard as you think you have to in order to get to where they are, which in some cases, because we have institutionalized racism and homophobia and all those things that we have to deal with, in some instances, in some certain layers of our reality, this is extremely true. But I honestly feel like for you, group 4, there's a different layer of reality that you're tapping into, especially with the Tower and the Hierophant here, and the King of Pentacles in reverse. There's a different layer of reality that you're tapping into, which won't allow you to continue the success unfulfilled. So the success unfulfilled card, the Seven of Pentacles, is your attachment to the white knuckle. It's the attachment to the work. It's an attachment to, I have to work hard, I have to go out here and have blood, sweat, and tears. Everything has to be long and tedious and daunting in order for it to be worth anything. This is the energy that you're transforming. So this is probably why you feel so stuck in the energy that you're stuck in right now, because the universe is, I say this in a lot of readings, but the universe is literally cornering you at the top of this like tower, and it's going to blast it away, and it's going to be so much more healing and freeing than what you think. I honestly feel like this is one of those instances where you're going to heal through an overwhelming feeling and sensation of happiness and joy. And you're not like, this tower does not feel like fear, or feel like, like some type of betrayal or backstab, or something like some type of like scary immediate change that like completely rips your life apart. I feel like it's going to rip apart a lot of your perspectives and a lot of the ways you think about the world, but it does not feel like something that's going to completely ruin you. It actually feels like something that's going to be very motivating, very inspiring, and very healing, very replenishing. And like, you can actually see the beauty and the magic of the universe, and you can respond to it. And it's going to become a language that you can teach with the Hierophant here. I feel like you're a master. I feel like you're a teacher, but you had to go through a lot of death experiences, a lot of transformations, one on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other, that was extremely painful in order for you to get here. And because you went through that experience of healing through pain, and healing through grit, and healing through, whatever the heck else, it's almost like you saw the magic and you saw the miracles, but you were so forced to face your shadow that it was so painful and it was so hurtful. And the fear here is too that everybody around you is going to have to go through a similar experience. But it feels like, because you're teaching this language, you can actually offer a language that is lighter, that people can actually transform and go through these death experiences in much more concentrated and also healing and healthy ways. Like, it doesn't have to be as painful as it has been for you, not only in this lifetime but throughout many lifetimes. I feel like there are many lifetimes where you've had to go through very, very challenging transformations in order to embody the energy that you have now, because you are this Hierophant. I honestly see you as a Hierophant. I honestly see you as a Hierophant who's just not clothed yet. So I feel like the universe is like pushing you to the top of the tower. I keep like going back to this imagery, and I know it's just like a little piece of shadow in here, but I feel like this is you, like this little shadow here. It's like you as a Hierophant in this tower, and it's like just being blasted away. I honestly feel that. I honestly feel that. Like, it's like you're so focused on like what you can do about your material success, when it's like, this is not only success in the material realm, that is not what the focus is right now for spirit and your spiritual team. Your spiritual team is focused on your soul growth, because they know that the master that exists within you is trying to come out. It's making its way out. The master inside of you is making its way out. It's expanding and it's growing, so that it can, like, it's almost like a peeling, an implosion or something that's happening. It's like there's so many beautiful things about you. You're such a beautiful human being. Wow, you're beautiful. It's like the clearing of the gunk. It's like the beautiful, it's radiant, it's on fire, it's amazing, it's beautiful. And it's like you've been allowing this for yourself. And it's like, at this point in your journey, just allow spirit to do for you what you can't do for yourself. Honestly, allow this death to experience to end with a beautiful bang, and health and joy and abundance. It doesn't have to be the same fear, doubt, and disappointment that you've been experiencing. And I feel like that is your biggest challenge. And I feel like this is what you're right now reframing and surmounting, this challenge of like going through so much death and so much disappointment and so much failure, and getting to the other end of that and looking back and being like, I experienced all that and I'm still here and I'm still radiant and I'm still beautiful. That is the energy that you're holding, and that is the mastery that you're going to be able to offer to other people. This is a process, and this has been a process from the very beginning, from the very moment it occurred in your life that you were undergoing something large. This has been a process. This has been a process since you've been incarnated, like the many lives that you've that we've all really manifested in, and incarnated in. But I feel like you're at the point where you're the Hierophant now, and you're a Wayshore. You're a keeper of ancient wisdom. You're a keeper of ancient knowledge. You have something to give the world. You have something to teach. And I feel like you are instrumental. You're like a spearhead in this journey, this collective journey that we're all on manifesting, or like not even manifesting, but creating or unfolding our age of radiance, our higher radiance, our connection to our highest heart, our higher radiance. This is like bringing out the beauty in other people, regardless of who they are. You are the Hierophant. You are the Hierophant. You just need to believe it. And this is also just having faith in allowing the universe to show you some of its magic. The Magus of Maternal Gods. I love how this message is coming through these cards. It's very, very specific. Everything is always exactly where and what it needs to be. This is about trusting in the magic of the universe, because you're going to teach this same magic. You're going to teach the same language. And in order for you to know what this language is, you have to speak it. You have to learn how to speak it. And it's a language that is available to us all. However, you've literally incarnated. Like, I see you choosing to incarnate at this time, or not even choosing. I feel like some of you have been called, like literally called on, like this soul right here, that's the soul that needs to be incarnated, and almost yanked out of the place you were before, brought to earth in order for you to embody and materialize this energy. Because we're moving out of this like iron age, and this age of doing, force, pounding, hard, work, tedious, to receiving, to flow, to abundance, to joy, to the universal flow of life and energy. And it's something that you're going to teach. And there's just some lessons that you have to learn along the way in order to understand that. Sorry about that, group 4. I had to pause for a second. I don't remember exactly what I was saying. However, let me dive back into this energy. I feel like I remember saying that you are the master. You are the Hierophant in this case. You are the Hierophant in training, basically. It seems like, too, you've been waiting on this tower moment. You've been waiting on this tower moment for a very long time. And you expect it to be bad. And it's almost like you want it to be bad. Because it goes back to, it almost like sums up some of the other readings too, where you want to feel like you're a good person, and you want to feel like, you're willing to self-sacrifice, you're really willing to take the hit for other people. If life has to be bad for somebody, you rather it be you than somebody else. And it's just like you're really, really kind of wrapping up some really, really major things in this life existence that you've been working on for a lot of lifetimes, and you're helping a lot of other people too as you wrap up these things. I really, really wish I could like fully remember what I was saying before I had to pause. However, I'm sure that the message, that we needed came through. But all of this really here is just telling me that these are the themes that you've been working on. And I feel like it is beautiful to see them all in reverse right here, with the Hierophant kind of staring at them and kind of like fine tuning these tools over here, because I feel like this is that, like all this energy is that. And I feel like this tower moment, this healing, this beautiful energy that you've been needing, because it feels like you've been in a ebb for a really long time, or like a slingshot just being pulled back and back and back and back, going down into your past, going inside, really doing a lot of inner work. And you're kind of like going to be finally hitting that position to where you're slingshotted forward, which is really, really beautiful, because I feel like there's really not a lot of Eight of Swords energy that's in your way. And it seems like any type of Eight of Swords energy that's in your way, it's either being handled by the universe or it's being handled by you. Like you're working on it, like you're doing the work, and not necessarily like even working. It's more like, you're honoring the fact that you have healing modalities and that you know what to do. So it's very, very beautiful energy. It just seems like you do feel a little stuck, because it's like you want to know what's next, you want to know what's coming, you're kind of a little impatient because you're kind of like tired of working through these things. But it's almost like the universe wants to, not even almost, but the universe wants all of us to get to where we need to be in order for us to receive what it is that we're destined and designed to receive. This is basically that energy. So let's get into your power animal cards and see what messages they bring to this. How are they helping you through this? What are they doing? Oh, yep. So you have Bat with transformation is assured. There is definitely a transformation taking place. You have death here as well. So honestly, really like that, there's no surprise to see Bat. And then you also have a blank, and I honestly feel like there's like a potion bottle in this blank card, which is interesting because it's, animal medicine, but there's like this potion bottle in this card. It's almost like it's interesting. It's almost like a love spell or some type of like spell or something, which is really interesting. It's very beautiful the way it's coming through, and it feels like the energy of like you're learning with this like love spell potion, like you're learning how to like just work with magic or concoct magic or something like that. I feel like this card is in reverse because it seems like it's a deep learning process and something that you'll be learning like more so like in the heart. It feels like there's some type of like heart alchemy going on with that. Maybe something romantic, I'm not sure, but it seems like there's going to be some type of like inner like romance. I don't know. It seems like some type of connection. It seems like some type of connection, some type of something. It's so interesting. I'm really trying to like pinpoint what it is, but I feel like it's ducking and dodging me on purpose. The energy is, but it feels like some type of love spell, or like a love potion or something. It's really, really interesting the way it's coming through. And then we have the bat. The bat is literally just like echoing, like this rebirth that you've been wanting is here. Like it's now. Like this has been all the process, or the cocooning process of, what this is. This is the rebirth is what this was all for, basically. So think of this blasted tower that you've been, working on and creating as the cocoon, and it's finally the butterfly breaking open. Basically what that is. So your Chakraism card for this reading, to give you a little more help, confirmation, and advice, is creative expression with the 5th chakra. I'm committed to sharing and revealing my thoughts and feelings by being creative in communication style and using expressive language. I express myself through talking, sighing, singing, laughing, and crying, and through using my creative talents. Excuse me. I consciously use my senses to experience my world more fully. I see, hear, smell, and feel more, and I become more aware of my surroundings, such as the weather, aromas, people, nature, sounds, and sights. Yeah, that's like the magic of the universe that you're picking up on. Like you're looking at things and you're seeing them in a different perspective. You're honoring their magic, and like with your communication style or like creative expression, this is all part of like who you're becoming. Because I feel like you're going to be someone who uses a lot, like there's a lot of magic that flows through your mouth and your throat chakra, and it seems like there's a lot that just had to get out of the way, your throat chakra. So you probably have been put in a position to say a lot of harsh things, deliver a lot of truths, move a lot of energy through your throat chakra, honestly, and your 4th chakra is coming through as well, the heart chakra. Moving a lot through your 4th and 5th chakra have been monumental for you, and that's why you've been experiencing so much of what you've been experiencing. So I love how that's coming through. And then your intuitive messages for this reading is, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Interesting. We have the King as well. It is safe for me to live an abundant, comfortable, stable, luxurious, wealthy life. I am friends with security and money. Security, I'm sorry, I couldn't read the word. My own handwriting. See, this is definitely you. I honestly feel like you are tapping into the flow of abundance. You're tapping into the overwhelming magic of the world and of life and of tapping into the flow of radiance that exists and that has always existed in flow in our universe, and you're tapping into that and you're teaching that language. And it feels like in a higher level, in a higher way. It doesn't seem like more like it seems like motivational speaker, but it's like less of that and more, it's like more magical. I wish I could explain it, but it's like more, it's like a higher frequency of what than what we like normally experience. So your working light cards are Akash, your guide. Oh, focus please. The focus, I can't tell. Yeah, there we go. Your guidance is divinely guided. Sure is. And yep, the age of light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. Yep. Like I was saying, you've been doing this for lifetimes. Lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, you've been coming through, like building this energy. You've been creating yourself into the Hierophant, really. Like you really been mastering. You've been going through lifetime after lifetime after lifetime trying to master this energy. And I feel like finally you can kind of walk away from this like dullness and this lack, and you're finally walking into this variety, this flow, this abundance, because it's like you have a job to teach that to others. Like you have a job to get to this place so that you can show other people the way. In order for you to be a way shower, you have to go first, and this is exactly what you have done. You have gone first. So really truly, if there is any Eight of Swords energy, you just have to get out of your own way and get out of your own head and understand that you have gone first. You have gone first, and you're offering this way. Like people can follow in your footsteps. You can teach this to people where it is that you have gone, where you have trod it. This is exactly where you need to be. Everything is everything is unfolding and happening exactly how it needs to, because you're going to go forward and you're going to teach a way to exist without this like constant punishment and this constant fighting and bickering and sadness and depression and all this other stuff that is just plaguing us right now. This is beautiful energy. This is absolute beautiful energy. Like honestly, this all the Eight of Swords energy that you have around this, which may at this time feel suffocating because it's cocooning you, will be blasted away by an overwhelming sense of beauty, of life, of love, and of just a flow of abundant energy. I honestly feel that way because there's an energy, there's essence here with the blasted tower being the overall frequency of this reading. There's something that spirit needs to do for you that you currently where you are cannot do for yourself. There's just something that spirit wants to do, needs to do for you in your life that just has to happen in order for you to really know, for you to really just like move forward in full trust and just full, I don't know why I'm hearing full alchemy, but full alchemy. Like this like is full, like this is part of the alchemy. This is part of what is fulfilling this beauty, this situation. So I hope that makes sense. So basically your Eight of Swords energy is just allowing the universe, even though it's hard because you are someone who is used to working hard, you're capable, you know that if you go out and work hard and do that you'll get eventually to what you want. But spirit is offering you a different way, and they want you to choose this different path. Like spirit wants you to choose this different path. You have freedom of choice, but spirit so wants you to choose this different path. And spirit has been sending you messages and confirmation in everything that you ever needed through signs and synchronicities and the world around you. So I really hope you pick up on that. So that is your reading for today, group 4. I really hope it resonated, and if it did not, that is okay. Take what did and the rest will fall away. And let me know down in the comments how this energy is affecting you, what's going on. And my phone is about to die, so I do have to wrap up pretty soon so I can finish this reading. But I do love you so very much, and I hope to see you next time, friend. Bye-bye.